Tell 'em Tribe Tarot. Daily readings for my tribe. Subscribe to my channel. Peace, Gemini. I am Cherokee with Tell 'em Tribe Tarot. Coming to you with another reading. I hope your day was amazing. And if you're up burning the midnight oil, I hope this reading soothes your soul and gives you a peace of mind. So this is for anyone who's going through a breakup and you need some insight on how you can move on. Because you know, on this channel, we talk about progressive action. We talk about doing things that would help your mental health and put you in position to excel on every level of your life. It's not about living in the past and hoping that you can change things that you have no control over. We want to take healthy steps in the right direction. So I trust that you take this advice if it resonates and it helps you to move that much further in the right direction for your healing's sake. Subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, click like to show some support, drop a comment to say hello to a goddess, share the video to share the wealth. Those are a lot of instructions, but my tribe is very intelligent, so I trust that you will understand that any one of those actions will work just fine for me, or simply watch at your convenience or for your viewing pleasure. So let's get into your reading, Gemini. So this is the breakup. This is what you're clinging to. This is forgiveness for them. And this is forgiveness for you. And the energy is the Four of Wands. So you just want to be at peace, Gemini, so that you can live your life the way how you intend to live it without having to constantly reflect on what is no longer. But for this energy that I'm picking up on, it's rather difficult. Change is hard when the change that you're experiencing doesn't coincide with the plan that you set forth for yourself, when it included someone who is no longer with you, whether it be in this realm and they've transitioned, or they're still here, but the pain of their absence feels like they've transitioned. And it is a transition after all, because they're no longer in your life due to something that happened, whether it be a fault that you are taking ownership for, whether it be a fault that you are placing ownership on them for. Regardless of what the reasoning is, this is where you are, and you're entitled to feel those feelings and go through those feelings. So the Hanged Man is the breakup. And I feel like you want, in a literal sense, to hang on a little longer to see if this is really what reality is going to be going forward. Because some of you are no longer with your person for amicable reasons. Reasons that you left each other amicably. It's not necessarily a bitter separation. It could be that you needed time apart to decide if being together and living life together was best for both of you, because one was sure and the other wasn't. And then on the flip side, it could have been a falling out where you've grown apart and you just get on each other's damn nerves, and it could not withstand the stressors of those differences. So you had to part ways for your peace sake. Some of you don't have answers. So I just feel like there's an energy of someone who may be waiting for something to click to understand why things had to be this way. And this is how it's influencing your life, because you're trying to look at things from a big perspective, a bigger perspective, from that person's understanding or from that person's perspective and from yours. And you're just not connecting the dots to understand why it had to be so drastically different from what you thought would have been your match forever in the beginning of this connection. And I think that's what is influencing your life in a not so great way, Gemini. It's because this is something that was not a part of your plan. I feel an energy of someone who may not have broken down step by step what they wanted out of a relationship, but they knew that the end result just should have been, this is my person and we're going to work through anything, great or small. And that didn't happen in this circumstance. So you're just stuck. It's like you are trying to figure out, how did this happen? And it's putting things on pause in different ways around you. It's like you don't want to move forward, even though you can. You have opportunities to do so, but you don't want to, because you feel like the moment that you do, you may suffer the consequences of your ex finally deciding that this is the connection they want and you've moved on, and you would drop anything to be with this person. Again, take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. This is for the energy that I'm feeling, because this is a very strong energy of someone who is not trying to move forward right away, because they may feel as if their ex may be present soon. So they're not releasing the past, and they're just trying to understand what happened on every level. So just in case they may be misunderstanding the situation, or their thoughts may not be representative of what actually occurred, as in being delusional, they will be able to call themselves on it. But you don't really have that clarity as yet, which is why you're here. Because you want clarity, even if that clarity means that you are not going to be a part of this connection anymore. And the tricky part about this, Gemini, is that you're not a part of this connection anymore. So whether you get clarity on this or not, the end result is still the same. Now, this spread is about forgiveness and how you can move forward. So I trust that you take this message with a grain of salt. So what you're clinging to, Gemini, is that this person made you feel strong, but they also made you feel helpless simultaneously, as if you had to fight to maintain your status with them, or you had to fight to prove yourself to them. And I'm not saying this like they did not believe who you were. I feel like maybe you had to dig deeper within your way of approaching things. You had to invert the way how you approach a relationship to help this person to understand the importance of honoring who they're with. And you felt like they put you in a predicament time and time again, with which each wand fighting a different demon of theirs, or fighting something that they would not show you up front, only to realize that this wasn't going to be as easy as you dreamed it to be. They did not respect you enough to not have you in this position, constantly explaining your worth to them, maybe, or fighting other third-party members, not even in a literal sense, but figurative, or vocally having to explain who you were. And in most cases, you were explaining the importance of you not being in this position to them, because if they loved you, they would not do this, right? So you're clinging on to the fact that they did not put you in a position to be their person, to truly stand with them. It's like you were defending them when they weren't around, even though they weren't even claiming you when you weren't around. It's like you did not receive the same respect. You stood tall for respect. This is something that is big for you. And you were trying to complete something that was broken. You thought that maybe they were meeting you where you were. And because of this betrayal or this misunderstanding or this deliberate disrespect, you're clinging on to this hurt because this person doesn't understand the depth of how they affected you. They made you have to fight to prove your love to them, which was unfair to you, Gemini. So what is it going to take for you to forgive them? You're going to have to face the fact that they're still a child, Gemini. They are still embracing their youth. They're still looking for answers in places outside of their own self. They're still trying to be larger than life. And you can't shake this person's understanding of themselves to see that everything that they're looking for outside of themselves is within themselves. That is something that they're going to have to realize on their own. And through the hurt that you experience through this connection, you have to forgive them for not understanding you. You have to forgive them for not understanding what you brought into their life. You have to relieve yourself of this pressure so that you can move forward, because they are not going to give you what you are trying to pull out from them, because they're just not ready. And you have to release that. So the understanding that you wanted from them, you now have to get from yourself. You see how that works, Gemini? I feel like peace and understanding is going to be a big part in your healing. And I'm saying peace in every aspect of the word. Peace on different levels of the definition. Releasing pieces of the hurt bit by bit by gaining a better understanding of the situation, that this was doomed because this person is trying to do things that they aren't ready for. It's as if they will say anything to be in a relationship, even if they know they really don't want one. You have to forgive them for being emotionally immature. You have to forgive them for not keeping it a buck with you from the get-go. You have to forgive them for not understanding. Because Gemini, their lack and their ignorance was not your fault. You worked hard enough trying to prove yourself, and they didn't see because they weren't experienced enough. And this person is going to continue to go through this cycle on their own. And with all due respect, you're dodging a bullet. So how can you forgive yourself? Well, Gemini, you can forgive yourself by feeling the love that you felt before you knew who this person was. I feel like this person affected you deeply, and you get choked up thinking about like the moments that were so near and dear to you, that were sacred to you, that felt like home, like nothing else in the world mattered. You have to forgive yourself for thinking that you could only get this feeling with this person, and that all hope is lost because you cannot get that with this person. Your home is the love that is in your heart. Your home is your patience and your commitment to growing and understanding yourself so that you can be a better person to the people that you invite into your sacred space. You have to forgive yourself for being an honest human being. Only then will you see that this connection has helped you to grow into a stronger person. And just because someone did not see who you were does not mean you aren't who you are. Now, this message can resonate for Gemini. It can resonate for any sign as well, because this is a common tale of being tricked out of your happiness because someone did not know how to cultivate their own. And you have to forgive yourself for being a genuine person to someone who could not appreciate it because they lacked the understanding of being an honest human being. People who are not honest with themselves, Gemini, will lie without trying because lies looks like truth in their world. You are not obligated to take responsibility for the things that you have no control over, that you were affected by because you were being a genuine person in a connection that you were not being appreciated in. Forgive yourself, Gemini, because your inner child wants to feel that homey, comfortable place again. This person brought out your inner child and made you feel loved. And now that this person is gone, you feel as though they took a piece of your happiness with them. But what they took with them was a memory. But you still have you are the owner of that piece, which is why I stated earlier that you will heal in pieces. Different pieces of you will heal when you release the pieces that you believe that person took with them. those pieces don't belong to you anymore. Let that love in that you released with that person. Forgive yourself, forgive them, and understand that you cannot change the past. You cannot wait forever. They did not appreciate who you were because they did not understand who you were. And they do not understand themselves as yet. So forgive yourself for enduring this situation so that you can move forward, Gemini. I'm going to pull an oracle card for you, and then we're going to close this reading out. I'm going to pull an oracle card. Spirit, please provide me with the closing message for Gemini. Please provide me with the closing message for Gemini. You see how you feel a bit lighter, Gemini? Forgiving yourself by releasing everything that no longer serves you. Releasing this person. Releasing them. Release them. Releasing them means that stop trying to bring them back. Release them. Because if you show the universe that you cannot live without someone, you are telling the universe that you cannot trust it to bring you happiness in all forms. Happiness does not come in the form of one person. Happiness comes in the form of a thought, an act of kindness, forgiveness. Because forgiveness is love of self. It's an act of love of self. Okay, so let's see. Growing. You're growing through this, Gemini. You're growing through this, and sometimes growth feels dark. Sometimes growth hurts. Sometimes growth is annoying, but every time growth heals, growth blooms and inspires. And I feel like with this season of learning about who you are with different people and who you are when certain people leave your life, you are understanding the importance of growing through all stages, growing through all transgressions, growing through every single challenge that you have. Because you are not your past, you are not your future, and you aren't even the present. You are an advocate of your thoughts and your experiences. And if you grow through them and you continue to grow through them, you can only change for the better. Think progressively, Gemini, by allowing yourself to grow through all changes. Okay? So I hope this resonates for someone. I hope that you grow through your changes. I hope that you allow yourself to feel, to heal, and to forgive. And until next time, love and light, tribe.